Hi, this is David Schlesinger. I'm representing Group 1 in MIS7610 this semester. Our group consists of Shahera, Yancey, Xin Adina, Fillingham, and myself, David Schlesinger. What we're going to talk about today is the implementation of a new human resource management system for our global, worldwide hospitality company. Let's start with our situation, target, and proposal. Here's our situation. We're obviously, as we said, a large hospitality company. We wish to hire the best available talent, and we feel that having the best available talent will give us a competitive edge in our core competencies as well as in our support functions. Now, the hospitality industry relies very heavily on people and their interactions with guests, so therefore we've got to reach the best professionals we can get our hands on. Also, our support services, for example, finance and technology, are complex, and we need really good people in those roles as well. Our current recruiting and onboarding process is very manual. It's labor intensive. We feel that we often miss out on really good qualified candidates because we don't have the ability to reach people everywhere. So our target is a recruitment solution that can source talent from job boards, via social media, through professional recruiters, and through people directly interacting with an application that is branded with our corporate logo. The other part of the target is a recruitment solution that is global in reach and, most importantly, that integrates with the rest of our human resource management technology, of which we don't have very much. So our proposal is to deploy a best-in-class commercial electronic recruitment web application, and then to deploy an HR management system which is going to serve as the back end to this web recruitment application. This back-end system will provide the technology that will allow us to integrate all of our HR activity, all the way from recruitment through onboarding and managing their careers. In other words, we want a solution that is going to manage the entire hire-to-retire process within our company. So the scope of this project that we're discussing today is supporting the ability to recruit and onboard employees. And then once we've got them onboarded, we want to encourage them to engage in training and other career development activities, so we want them to be able to enhance their careers. This project is specifically about deploying the core human resource management system technology that would interact with this commercial web-based electronic solution for recruitment. So the key focus area is on technology that supports posting positions, screening candidates and onboarding new employees, and then manages the entire employee lifecycle. What's the business value proposition of e-recruiting supported by HRMS technology? Number one, it's important to state at the beginning that this aligns with our organizational strategy. Our organizational strategy is having a corporate goal of developing and maintaining the best talent in the business, which we said is a key factor in us having a competitive edge. So supporting this strategy requires the ability to post positions into various talent-seeking sites and social media worldwide. So what's e-recruiting all about? What's the business value of e-recruiting? What is e-recruiting? It's a web-based electronic recruiting application which would allow us to post positions on the web, and we would through that be able to post to other recruiting engines and through social media without a great deal of manual effort. E-recruiting would also increase our efficiency because the workflow would be more automated, and we wouldn't have to have as much manual effort and manual involvement in creating positions, getting them posted, scheduling interviews, and getting positions filled and the like. Now, the core HRMS technology would automate the integration with this recruiting solution and would allow candidate records to evolve into employee records. So candidates would come into the system and enter their personal information to become a candidate, and if they got hired, that record could evolve into an employee record, so that you end up having automated record keeping, automated workflow, and it would be more efficient, and we would have one single point of entry of information and therefore one single source of truth. And this would most certainly align with our corporate goal of using automation to increase efficiency. So what are the key capabilities needed from these applications? Obviously, it's the ability to manage open positions, and that's going to be supported by automated workflows to propose positions, get them approved, and get them posted. The ability to attract quality candidates, so we want to be able to post our positions not only to our website, but to global job sites, make them available through search engine, make them available to recruiters, and make them available through social media. The next thing we want is workflows to increase efficiency. So we want this automated screening and ranking of employees, we want the automated workflow, and we overall just want to reduce the manual effort it takes to engage in the recruitment process. Finally, once we get beyond recruitment, we've got onboarding and succession management and career management, and we want workflows to support those things as well. With regard to executing the project itself, what follows in the next couple of slides is a summary of the activities that will take place in each phase of the software development lifecycle of deploying this HR technology. Number one, planning, project selection, right? So we're proposing this project and we expect it to be selected based on its business value and its alignment with our strategic corporate goals. Beyond that, we're going to, once the project is selected, we need to engage in project planning, which involves team selection, laying out a high-level schedule for the project, setting expectations for the organization about when we're going to deliver what, and then decisions on the type of methodology we're going to follow. Is it more appropriate to follow a waterfall methodology or an agile methodology, for example? In the requirements determination part of the project, we will have to identify the key stakeholders, and we'll have to determine how we're going to do analysis. How are we going to elicit requirements? Are we going to have joint application development sessions? Are we going to do interviews? Are we going to look at documents? More likely, we'll do a combination of several of these techniques, probably starting high up with the executives and getting their strategic direction for this application, and then working through JAD sessions with various stakeholders. And obviously, we need to document whatever as-is capabilities we have today, which, of course, we said are highly manual. But we need to start with the as-is in order to build an organizational management plan that will allow the organization to move from this as-is capabilities to a set of to-be capabilities. We'll be doing use case analysis, process analysis, and we'll be looking at the required information architecture, which will very likely express it in an entity relationship diagram. Design acquisition is going to be a critical juncture in this project. Once we have our requirements very well articulated, we have to decide whether we're going to build HR technology or whether we're going to buy technology. The reality is that there are a lot of HR technology applications available for purchase in the marketplace, and if our needs are not extremely unique or extremely special, it is very likely that we'd want to buy and configure an application. Now, even if we do buy and configure an application, we need to know where this application is going to be hosted. Do we buy the software and host it in our own data center, or do we host it on the cloud or on a vendor cloud and use kind of a software as a service type solution? So the build activities are going to vary very significantly based on this design acquisition decision. If we are building the application, then we're going to be making decisions about the hardware and the technology stack. We're going to be designing the user interface and the screen flow, and we're going to have to design the database technology and figure out how we're going to store the data. Whereas if we buy an application or we sign up for software as a service, we're going to figure out where it's going to be hosted. Are we going to buy the application, or are we going to use it as a service and pay per usage? And when it comes to user interface, we'll be evaluating the user interfaces of proposed solutions, and maybe we'll come up with some requirements, and maybe the solutions will allow us to configure user interfaces so they look and feel like they should, given our company and our logo and our branding and so forth. Then with regard to data storage, again, we're going to be looking at evaluating proposed solutions. Implementation and transition will also vary greatly depending on the build versus buy decision. So if we are going to be creating software, then we're going to be building it and testing it and deploying it ourselves. We're going to be doing some system testing and integration testing, and we'll have to manage the entire testing cycle. On the other hand, if we're buying the application, we're going to be focused more on user acceptance testing. Organizational change control is the other key to implementation, and that involves understanding all of the people that are going to be impacted by deploying our new technology. We have to document all the new processes. We have to figure out, as I said, who's affected, and we have to deliver training in order for people to use this system successfully. So how is this HR solution going to solve all of our problems or resolve the situations that we talked about earlier in the situation target proposal? Well, prior to deploying the solution, we are in a situation where our processes are very manual. The information is distributed. We don't have the ability to automate job postings to job boards. Because of the manual work of creating positions and then creating employees, we have to re-enter data, and we don't have a systematic way of making sure that data flows from candidate to position. So data re-entry sometimes causes duplication and lack of reliability in the data. We don't really have any systematic way of managing succession and career development, and we feel that our recruitment efforts misses a lot of good candidates, and we also feel that our overall level of effort is very, very high and very manual. With the solution, as you can see here, we're going to have this HR information system that will integrate with e-recruiting and integrate with payroll. We're going to have key actors and key roles interacting with this system, whether it's recruiting managers or hiring managers, and even the employee themselves will have the ability to get self-service from the system. So they can enter information like a change of an address, or they could go into our succession management system and enter information about how they want to progress their careers. So we're going to have a single point of data entry and therefore a single source of truth, which we expect will lead to our data being much more reliable. We expect that there will be automation and workflow, and that will reduce our manual effort to a very significant degree. And we will have overall well-defined process management for the entire hire to retire work stream. The following couple of slides are just a couple of ideas for a few screens or interfaces. These were created with a web application called UXPin. The first page, you can see a simple employee data entry, the ability for an employee to go in and check their information, change information about themselves, and so forth. And from there, they can go to contact details and work details, and HR can look at financial and payroll information. The employees will be able to post a profile picture, and they'll be able to configure certain settings about their profile. So this is just kind of an example of employee data entry. As far as position management, here's an interface, a simple interface that allows somebody to go search for available positions. We would make an interface like this available internally and externally, so that internal candidates can look for positions, which is part of their succession management, and external positions can apply for positions with our company. We'll have the ability to upload a resume and parse out that resume text. And then we'll allow people to follow posted positions on Twitter, use their Google profiles to create an account with our system if they're not already employees, and also to share positions that they're applying for in LinkedIn. Altogether, we would have some LinkedIn integration that would allow us to look at candidates and their LinkedIn profiles. Then finally, we've got a little bit of additional self-service. This is the idea of somebody being able to upload their picture, more personal information, and we would consider having a mobile version of the app that would allow employees and recruiters to look at positions and potentially enter information about themselves. So this is the end of our presentation. Again, this was Group 1, Shahera and Adina and Shin and David, and we are talking about employing or deploying HR technology to support e-recruiting and to support the entire hire to retire process here at our global hospitality company. Thanks very much for taking the time to listen to our presentation.